Good morning. Let's take our usual 5 minutes to just settle in to our practice today. Perhaps closing your eyes, taking that nice deep breath in, exhaling out through your mouth. Imagine that you are turning your awareness inward for this practice. That you are going to go inside and listen to the sensations and messages from your body, and use your breath and your movement today to just massage and soothe, release, lengthen, strengthen, all of those things. If anything increases or creates pain in the body, don't do it. If anything causes you to have to hold your breath, be very cautious about doing it, because our breath is that indicator. It helps you know when you're pushing beyond a limit. It helps you know that you could be moving into territory where you could create injury. So curate this first few minutes, that long, smooth breath in your body, the beautiful inhale and long exhale. And see if all your movement through this practice today can be done within this full breath. Feel your sit bones connect to the chair. The crown of the head reach upward, floating towards the sky as if each breath that you could take actually expands you top to bottom and then releases you. Expands you top to bottom and then releases you on the exhale. There's this pulsation, this spanda, elasticity that you're finding and tapping into in your movement. Let yourself smile today. Feeling the hints of seasonal change coming. The longer sunlight during our day, the slightly warmer temperature, the melting snow, the coming invitation of spring. Let your fingers slide to the ends of your knees, and then let yourself start to do your seated cat-cow poses, tucking your chin and arching your back. Taking a nice deep inhale to lift yourself back into the tallest position. Shoulders drop down the spine. Roll the shoulders forward, arch the back, tuck the chin. Lift tall, drop those shoulders. Move back and forth between that cat and cow position. Letting your breath slowly warm up your spine. Move into areas of tightness and tension and soothe them, soften them. Come into that nice tall position. Shrug the shoulders right up to the ears. Roll them down your back. Shrug them again. Roll them down. Last one. Shrug them up towards the ears. Roll them down the back. Nice work. Take the elbows out to your side and squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then bring the hands forward into almost like a hug. And then open up again. You can do this just moving the arms, keeping the rib cage nice and still, feeling like you're sliding the shoulder blades on the back body. Every time you cross your arm, see if you can cross the opposite arm on top from what you did the time before. Yeah. Exhale as you squeeze into the hug. Inhale to open and squeeze the shoulder blades. Start to let that be a whole rib cage arch and bend, as it's almost like you're going back into a cat-cow variation. See if you can still switch the arms, which one's on top, which one's on bottom. Big opening, squeeze to close. Big opening, squeeze to close. Coming all the way back up, roll those shoulders down the back. We'll do some side bends. Open up the side body. Sweep through the top as you breathe in, and let yourself go to the other side as you breathe out. Use your breath. There's a big inhale. A long, slow, smooth exhale. Big breath in. Releasing it out. Tune into your side body. Feel the space between the armpit and the waist. Just allow that to lengthen as if your breath is pushing out through your side body. Breathe in. Breathe out. You know the rules. If your hands feel like they don't want to sweep in the air, you can leave hands on shoulders, just protecting any pain or tension that is built in those shoulders today. You can do the side bends like this. Always getting our spine moving in all of its ranges of motion, reminding your body all of the different creative pathways to movement that are available to you. Coming back to center, rolling those shoulders back down. Bring the hands right up to the heart. Simple twist, rolling to the right. Inhaling to center, twisting to the left. Breathing in, breathing out. Just feel how delicious twists feel. As we start to open up all the pathways of movement in our spine, it's like we've encouraged circulation to flow. We've invited breath into deep kind of nooks and crannies of the body. Every time we come to our practice, that breath gets invited into corners that our daily movement might not touch. And then coming back to center. Fingers slide to the ends of your knees. Your bum crawls to the edge of your chair. Take your feet out wide. Remember, this is one that you can leave your bum on the chair, or you could lift up. Fingers come to the inseam of your legs. Press the hands down on the thighs. Drop one shoulder down and lift back up. Opposite shoulder drops between the knees and lifts back up. Exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. There's a nice diagonal stretch moving across the back body. If you feel like heat is building in your body, you can exhale out through your mouth. Otherwise, you're curating heat. You're building heat in the body. You're breathing in and out through your nose to let that fire of agony build inside. Nice. Let yourself finish that, setting your bum back down on the chair if it isn't, and slide the feet back to center. Pick up your right leg and cross it over the left. Sit nice and tall. Roll the shoulders down the back. Kind of let your hands point to the floor. Imagine some string tied to your sternum begins to pull forward. Your shoulders stay relaxed. Your chin stays relaxed. The spine stays long, so you're not rounding the back. Point your fingers back to where your sit bones are pointing. Good. Inhale and let yourself come all the way up. Can keep the legs crossed like this. You can extend the left foot and cross the foot over the shin. Alternately, you can bring the foot up onto the top of the thigh and have the bottom leg bent. Same here. Lengthen the spine, shoulder blades drop down the back, and we lean forward, nice flat back. You'll feel it in your hip. Breathe. Breathe. Beautiful. And then as you come back up with a nice tall spine, let that knee start to lift and lower. You can do it here. If the left leg is straight, it can be happening down here. Good. Keep your spine as straight as you can while the knee is just working its way out in the hip socket, the thigh. Yeah. And then put that foot down. Sweet. Let's let left cross over right. Tall, tall spine, shoulders relaxed on the back. Point your fingers in the direction of your sit bones. So as you start to lean forward, chest is drawing forward, chin and shoulders stay relaxed. Back gets a long stretch. You'll feel it through the leg as well. Breathe. Breathe. Beautiful. Inhale and let yourselves come back up. Choose your next pose. So you straighten the right leg, cross the left. Foot can be on the shin, back and forth, or it can come up here. Find that spot and let's do the forward lean first. So nice tall spine. And then let yourself lean forward. Soften your chin. Breathe into the tightness that you're feeling. Keep your breath feeling slow and relaxed. Gently opening up the places of tightness. Beautiful. As you inhale and come back up, let that knee start to lift and lower. Or alternately, you're doing it from a straight right leg. Yeah. So much tension builds in our hips. So all of these movements just help to relax and release that tension. Once we get the tension relaxed and released, we start to stabilize and strengthen, building our balance, building our strength. It's really important in yoga that we don't try and build balance and strength on tension, because then it's like a building in an earthquake. It's fine as long as there's no earthquake, but as soon as there's any instability underneath, then the strength and the balance disappears. So we want to get rid of tension, build strength, build balance where there's integrity in the body. Yeah. And release that. Oh. Sweet. So you can start to feel that in your hips. If your bum cheek is still on the edge of your chair, sweep that leg out to the right, bring it back to center. Sweep the left leg out, bring it back to center. You can either sweep if that feels okay, or some of you might feel like you want to pick up and tap. There's not really one that's harder than the other. What I want you to do is figure out which one feels best in your body, which one you can do with the tallest, straightest spine. So maybe you're actually going to try both. So good. Nice. And then coming back to center. Sweet. Bring your heels in just a little bit. We start to lean forward. And as you lean forward, really feel your body weight going down, activating the strength in your legs. Let the hands stay on the shins, although you're trying really hard not to push into those palms. See if you can press through the soles of the feet and activate the legs in order to lift the bum. And then let yourself come up to this half lift position. Legs can be as bent as they need to be. Spine is flat. Do some cat-cows here too. Feeling like you start to bring the spine as long and straight as you can. And then arch it to the sky. Straighten it. Arch it. Straighten it. Arch it. Yeah. So good. And then let yourself come all the way up to standing. Good work. Nice. When you are in standing position, that chair just gets to stay for balance and support. Inhale your fingers up to the sky. Exhale them down to your heart. I'm bending my knees so that my recording catches my head. And release. If you want to bend your knees, you'll just be doing chair pose, which is harder. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale up. Exhale, hands to your heart. One more big sweep of breath, bringing it down right into your heart, and stand tall. Beautiful. Perhaps hands are over your head and you get to lean to the right, come back to center, lean to the left. I'm trying to make myself have a bit more floor space. There you go. Nice. Keep leaning right and left, right and left. Remember that if you don't like that through the shoulders, same pose, right and left. So good. So good. Find the back of your chair. Let the feet walk backwards. Settle yourself into that long stretch. If the shoulders feel tight, your hands come wide on the chair. If the backs of the legs feel tight, your knees bend deeply. You press the sit bones back behind you. Find the long stretch of the spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, finding the maximum length in the legs, the maximum length in the spine. Breathe out and soften. And letting yourself come back up behind this chair. Yeah, let's take a step back with our right foot, sealing the sole of the foot down into the floor, lengthening the top body. Your hands can stay on hips or chair, and let yourself tick-tock forward. The tailbone is lifting here, and then the tailbone points to the floor. The tailbone lifts and reaches behind you, and then the tailbone tips to point to the floor. So that you're really concentrating on the movement of this pelvis, the whole bowl just rocking itself on the top of the leg bones. This is not a low back stretch. Yeah. Good. Coming all the way up, letting that front knee bend. Reaching the fingers, one hand or both hand down by your side, and let yourself start to lean forward. If one hand wants to stay on the chair, go ahead. Feel like some string is pulling out through the crown of your head, and the opposite end of that string is pulling down through the sole of that back foot. Reach forward with the front knee, forward and up with the crown. Reach down with one hand, reach down through one heel. Good. Inhale and coming all the way back up. We'll tip forward again, this time with the legs straight, both fingers touching the chair. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Slow, smooth inhale, back up. Let your knees bend. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Left foot takes a nice step back. Seal the heel down into the floor. Don't drop into the front knee yet. One hand can always stay on the chair, or you can have both hands on hips. Feel the tailbone lift. Drop it back down again. This is you getting the pelvis to rock on top of the leg bones. Keeping the spine. This isn't a waist bend. There's nothing happening sort of in the spine like this. The movement comes from way down. If you see how the sit bones feel like they can lift, or the tailbone feels like it can lift and then it can tuck, that's the idea of the movement. You'll feel it in that front leg for sure. Good. So coming back up, drop into the front knee. Yeah. Slowly let yourself lean forward. Choose if one hand or both reach back beside you. Feel the crown of your head stretch, stretch, stretch up and away. Feel that back heel press down, push away. It's like there's this energy in your body, reaching in opposite directions, pulling up and out, grounding down and back. Breathe. Push through the front knee, reach through the crown, ground through that back heel. Good. Good, good. Inhale and coming all the way back up. Straighten that front leg and let yourself fold forward. Ooh. We have a visitor today. Hello, visitor. Oh, yes, it's nice to see you too. Hi. And then, gorgeous. Let yourself come all the way back up. Gentle bend into those knees. Step yourself forward. And then turn. I'm gonna have it so that the chair is on my right side. Turn the toes to face the right. And then let the hips kick to the left. Reach out through that right hand. Perhaps the hand comes down onto the chair. Maybe the top hand is on the hip. Maybe that top hand goes to sky. Stretch your hips out to the side. Stretch. Beautiful. Yeah. Aren't animals funny? The only time they want your attention is when you don't want to give it to them. Especially cats. Inhale, let yourself come all the way up. Good. Bend into those knees gently and then step your feet together. You guys might be able to just step your opposite foot back. I'm going to try and bring it so that you can see me. Oh, sorry. And my left foot faces the chair. Right hand on the hip, hips kick back to the right. And it's the side movement. We're practicing tipping the pelvis on the legs in a sideways motion. Choose if the top hand stays on hip or if the top hand reaches up to the sky. Nice long stretch. Breathe. Breathe. Yeah, feels so good. Inhale and let yourselves come back up. Buoyant knees, step back towards the chair. Good work. Okay, so now we want to go a little bit further, stepping that back leg tiny bit more than you did the first time. I'm going to let my left knee lean in towards the chair. So if the last one was legs straight, this one is legs bent. Perhaps this back hand lifts up. You decide about your front hand. Okay, your choice. So full pose, exalted warrior. Warrior two. Extended side angle. Warrior two. Okay, so breathe in. Maybe the hand leaves the chair. Maybe this back hand just slides down the back leg. Back to warrior two. Come the other way. Back to warrior two. Back out. Warrior two. Back. Extended exalted warrior. Back out. Yeah, so you're just moving back in. Can you feel the work building in that front leg? Yeah. Good work. And release. Straighten that front leg. Best part of the whole pose, straightening the front leg. Both sets of toes can face forward and then wiggle your legs back. Let's try that same thing on the other side. Wider stance. My right toes point to the chair. Right knee bends. Yeah. Warrior two. Remember, use the chair as much as you need. Exalted. Warrior two. Extended side angle. Warrior two. So there's a big breath, and then that breath releases. There's a big breath, and that breath releases. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Yeah, the front thigh is starting to burn. I get it. Back. Let's do one more. Warrior two. Back again. And done. Straighten that front leg. Both your toes can point forward and you just heel, step the feet back together. Nice. Let's hula hoop the hips a little bit after those movements, rolling them in nice big circles. I have a nice tie on the bottom of my sweatshirt, and I feel like it just looks funny in the video. This strings hanging down, big circles. Whatever direction you've chosen to do those circles, let them go the other way now. Oh, get into all those nooks and crannies with your movement, with your breath. Let it feel good. Sweet. Feet come back together. Good. All right. So now just roll up onto your tippy toes, back down to your heels. Roll up onto your tippy toes, back down. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Separate your feet, toes point out. Come up onto tippy toes, bend your knees. Drop your heels, straighten your legs. Lift heels, bend knees, drop heels, straighten legs. Lift, bend, stand down, straighten up. Good. Last one in this order. Good. Now we're going to bend knees first. Lift heels second. Push to standing on tippy toes and then drop our heels. Bend, lift heels, straighten legs, drop down. Bend, heels lift, straighten up, drop down. Guest star, ready to leave. Good job. And release. Nice. One standing pose today. I don't know how you guys are doing, but I'm huffing and puffing a bit today. So what's going on? Ready for your tree pose? Feet plant, hip width apart or together. Start to feel yourself put your weight onto your left leg, let's start with. And what it feels like is if you're slowly scooping weight, like one sand scoop at a time out of your right leg and putting it in your left leg. How far do you feel like you can go before you feel like you have to lean? Notice even your hand on the chair. How far can you put weight in that left leg before it feels like you have to moderate by putting more weight down into your palm? Soften your shoulders. Perhaps feel the low belly muscles turn on. That would be ideal. Maybe you don't need the chair. Bring up that right heel. Let it open to the side, and somewhere on the inseam of your left leg, you get to put the right foot. Toe can be on the floor. Calf. You can even lift into the thigh if you want. Find a spot. And then really let this left leg hold you up. No hip popped out to the side. Keep that hip nice and tall. Keep the spine nice and tall as if some puppet string is drawing out through the crown of your head. Choose if you can let a hand leave the chair. Maybe the opposite hand comes to heart. Maybe both hands to heart. Gaze is steady. Breath is steady. Beautiful. And soften the foot back to the ground. Wiggle that out. When we do those tree poses right, your standing leg works out. It gets a lot of strength in it, which is why we have to do those tension releasing exercises first. Now you're thinking of your right leg taking your weight. Notice your hand on the chair. If you were to scoop weight from the left to the right, how much can you do that before it feels like you have to lean into your hand or dive out into the hip? Keep your shoulders relaxed down the back. Start to lift that left heel. Move it out to the side. Toe on the floor, the ankle, the calf, or higher. Choose what feels right. Stand tall through that right leg. Lift through the crown of your head. Roll your shoulders down your back. Breathe long, full breaths. Choose how much weight needs to be in the hand that's touching the chair. Maybe you just need like one fingertip to touch that chair where your breath can still be full and active. Maybe if you're gripping with all your might, you find that you can grip less. And notice when you grip less or when less weight is in that hand that this leg has to work harder. Notice that. that you're shifting the work to a new place. Yeah, shift it into that leg if you can. If you can. If it doesn't let you, then know that that's why your hand's there. Breathe. Breathe. Beautiful. Just feel that strength building. So good. And release it down. Nice. So this time, take your feet hip width apart. Instead of doing hula hoops, feel like you just slide your hips between two tracks. I always picture a pane of glass door sliding on the sliding door track. There's no twist here at all. It's just a right and left movement into those side muscles. Yeah. Feels good. And your breath feels good now. Let's just check in. So Tadasana is mountain pose. Your feet are hip width apart. Feel them plant into the floor. You might just rock back and forth. Rock to the outsides of the feet and to the insides of the feet. And then start to feel where you're balanced between right and left. Buoyant in the knees a little bit. Just give them a couple bounces. Straighten them only as much as they want to straighten. Bring your awareness to the pelvis, tip and tuck. And then let the pelvis drop to a neutral position as much as you can, imagining that the low back could let go and release. When you let go and release the low back, the legs will have to work harder. You might even feel like you need to bend your knees a little bit to allow that relaxation from low back and allow the quads to work a little harder. Good. Hands can just be by your sides. Gaze is down, chin is soft. Feel the spine grow tall from the hips. Let the shoulders roll down the back, relaxing the arms and the shoulder girdle on the strength of the spine. Breathe in. Feel that breath reach to all corners of the body. The increase in your circulation, how your breath is warming and melting away tightness in your body. Beautiful. Sweet. Okay, we're going to do a couple twists here. So I want you to bring your hands to the back of the chair and walk back just a little bit. Take your right hand and reach it underneath your left armpit, and then hike the right elbow up to the sky. Some of you might even take the right hand up to the sky, and then reach underneath again and lift. So I want you to do it a couple times, keeping your legs straight. You won't go as far, but that's okay. You can see how when I let the knee bend, I go further. So you're gonna not let that knee bend. Now let's change sides. So put the right hand down, left. If you really wanna make this harder, you could go further and you can flatten your back further. Reach and lift. Elbow, reach, or lift fingers. Reach. Your knees can both bend or both be straight, but don't give in quite yet into one of them bending. Yeah. And then coming back up. Okay, this time we are going to allow that knee to bend. So as I reach my right hand underneath, my right knee bends far, and then I lift up. Right knee bends far, and I lift up. Bend far with that right knee. Feel it. Sometimes you can even feel it in the left hip. Nice stretch diagonally across the back body. Last one. Good. Now do the same with the other side. This time it's the left hand and the left knee that will bend, and then lift up. Left hand and left knee. Remember, you can just lift elbow or you can lift hand. Breathe and move. Breathe and move. If it doesn't feel delicious, change it. Make it smaller. Bring it to whatever spot where the movement just feels good. And all the way up. all the way up. Sweet work. Hands to the back of the chair. Walk those feet forward. 3 shoulder rolls backwards. 1, 2, 3. Nice work. Good. All right. One more one for those legs. See if you can stand behind your chair, lifting right heel. And this is the only movement I want you to make. Pretend you're pushing against a door and almost closing it. Pushing it 2 inches open and almost closing it. 2 inches open, almost closing. One more time, almost closing. Put it down. If it feels like your back had to work in that, then just squat down for a minute. Drop all work through the low back down into those legs. Breathe. Lift. Opposite heel lifts. Push and release. Push. I always imagine there's tension, that my foot is pressing against something that has some weight to it. And it brings more work into the leg than if I imagine that my leg's just sort of swinging back and forth in space. Yeah, it's not a hammock right now. It's actually imagining work. So good. And relax. Good. So now widen. Knees can bend. Drop and lift. Drop and lift. When you drop down, see if you can take your tailbone to point to the floor instead of poking it back behind you. See if you can keep your spine upright. Yeah. Knees reaching out. Remember, this movement could look like this if you like. Just small and easy. You can go down as deep as it feels good, or if the knees need more care and attention, you're just doing little ones. Whew. So good. When you come back up, decide if you want to do the right and left sways, or if you want to do some big hula hoops. So good. Let's keep our chair close by today for our last 20 minutes. We're going to use it for our Savasana. So for those of you who are new, I'm going to try and set myself up so that when I'm done my class, I can come to this position here with the calves on the chair. So that's kind of how I'm going to try and set myself up. We usually want one blanket or pillow for the head, and then a second blanket or rolled towel or something to just support our low back a little bit. And you'll see how I use that as I come to the floor. Don't you find when you work out at home, this is when you start to go, oh, I really need to vacuum today. Tuesdays are I always find myself vacuuming Tuesday afternoons this room, because I see when I go down to the floor, I'm like, oh yeah, there's all the dust. Coming down as slowly as you need to. I'm going to keep my feet bent, or my knees bent, and bum on the floor. Shift my video so you can see me better. There you go. Knees bent, feet on the floor, head on a pillow. Choosing that blanket underneath your low back. So some of you find that if you could roll the blanket just a tiny bit in the low arch of the back, that provides beautiful relief. Some of you find that if that blanket could just catch your tailbone and lift your tailbone a tiny bit, that's where the relief happens. So you choose. Nice. Take some time to just relax and settle here. Every deep breath, letting your body release a little bit more into the support of the ground. Taking your time to make any changes you need to your pillow so that your chin and forehead are aligned, or forehead just a tiny bit higher than chin. You want to make sure your chin isn't poking in and creating any blockages in the neck. Let's draw our right knee in towards the chest. Drape fingers on thigh or shin. Point and flex the toe. Breathe in and out through your nose. Roll the ankle. Whichever way you're rolling the ankle, change it and roll it the other way. Nice. Start to reach the heel up towards the ceiling. Straighten the leg as much as it wants to straighten. Twist it in the sky. Rotating right, rotating left. Knee bends back into chest. Give it a squeeze and a release. Squeezing, pushing all the air out of your body. Inhale, long breath. Exhale, squeeze the breath out of your body. Inhale, thigh pulls away. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, release. Oh, so good. Let's put that right foot back down on the ground. Draw your fingertips either around the back of the thigh or the shin. Begin to point and flex your toes. Yeah. Noticing the roll of the ankle. Whichever direction you're rolling the ankle, let yourself roll the opposite way. Soften your shoulders, tune into your breath. Reach the left heel up towards the sky. Your leg just gives itself a big long stretch. Knee might straighten, might stay bent. Your leg could be way out here in front of you. Twist it right, twist it left. And bring the knee right back into center. This is where I'd like you to squeeze the breath out of your body and then inhale, let it fill again. Squeeze the breath out of the body. Inhale, let it fill. Breathe. Breathe as you just pull the knee towards the chest and release it away again. Move on the rhythm of your breath. And then let's release that left leg down onto the floor. So good. Now I'd like you to take your hands, and if it feels okay, to open them wide like airplane wings. In this stretch, we're going to take right hand, curl it into the body, stretch the palm across the top of your chest, and reach the right hand down towards the left fingers. Picking the right shoulder up off the floor, stretching, and then sliding that hand back and uncurling it onto the floor. Do the same with the left hand. The fingers curl in, elbow bends, hand comes to the top of the chest, stretched across the top of your chest. Start to reach the left hand down towards the right fingers. Lift that left shoulder, and then exhale and unwind. So to the extent that you're going to lift the shoulders, you're just doing it where it feels comfortable. Right fingers curl up, come to shoulder, sweep across chest, down left arm, and uncurl. Do the same with the left hand, curling the palm in, sweeping the hand across the chest, reaching it down towards the right fingers, stretching across the top body, uncurl. Beautiful breath. Just make your breath feel slow, deep, strong as you invite this upper body curl to happen. Okay, one more on the left, fingers curling in, sweeping across the chest, reaching towards the right fingertips, and slowly uncurling down to the floor. Nice. Good. Take fingers now and lift them up to the sky. Palms face the ceiling or face your knees, fingertips face the ceiling. Drop your shoulders down onto the floor. Now imagine that your shoulder blades are going to pick up off the floor and then the shoulder blades drop again. See if you can lift them off the floor and set them back down with control and precision. You're imagining that there's hydraulics in those back shoulders. They lift off the floor and the shoulder blades settle back down. Inhaling and exhaling. Yay. Yay. And down. Open those hands up wide again. They can be wide like airplane wings. You can also start to bend the elbows and reach the palms up towards your head, especially if your knuckles can still stay relaxed on the ground. Wherever you are, you're feeling like a big stretch in through the chest. Choose what you might do with the legs. Perhaps the soles of the feet come together and the knees open wide to the side. Perhaps you're ready for the legs to straighten and lengthen in front of you. For some of you, this will be like a no way, your back hates it. And for some of you, it will feel really good. Your back loves it. If back hates it, you're making sure that you don't stay there. Back loves it, go ahead. Beautiful. Let's release the hands. Fingers come down to the belly. And start to do nice circles. Knees come into chest. You can put fingertips on the knees and roll. Or you can just hold both knees and roll the low back into the ground. So there's two movements here. One is the massage of the low back into your blanket underneath you. And one is how the thigh bones just roll around in the hip sockets. Make sure you go both directions with either one. Maybe you're doing both. So good. All right, here's where a chair comes in handy. I'm gonna take my heels, place them on the edge of the chair and slide up. If the chair is too far away from you, you've got two options. Heels can grab the chair, pull it closer to you, or you can nestle, snuggle your bum closer and closer. Try and make it so the backs of your calves actually rest on the chair. Your knees can fall open if that feels good. Alternately, you might want to practice keeping the knees together, falling towards each other. Bring hands to your belly. As you breathe in, feel your body fill with air. When you exhale, feel your body relax and release all the air. Just giving yourself this minute at the end of class to notice how it feels to tune out of the outside world and to tune into you. To notice how it feels to pay attention to how breath and movement feel like it can just sweep through your body, nurturing and nourishing. Notice how your brain feels when it too withdraws from the outside world and comes inward to focus on the inhale and the exhale and to help direct the breath into the corners of the body, desiring it most. And notice, it's like noticing your nervous system. You're noticing your emotion, your stress response, your level of peace and calm, just how this practice helps you feel. And we just hardwire that, bringing what's happening in our unconscious system up into our consciousness. Take 5 more breaths. Deep, slow, delicious. And after that 5th breath, let your fingers and toes start to wiggle. Just notice what movements your body's craving. Is it a stretch? Is it knees being hugged into chest? Think about the easiest, most supportive way to come off the ground. Perhaps you're going to roll over to one side, letting that top hand press into the floor, pushing yourself back up. Knowing that you have that chair there, you can come right up into the seated position in the chair, or you can find a seated spot on the floor. Bringing your hands to your heart. Maybe even today, let's lift them thumbs to the space between your eyebrows. And just lean forward, bowing a bit. Having that moment of gratitude for yourself, for this practice, for our community. Hands back down to heart, and again. Thank you. Namaste.